Broadcasting from the humid digital airwaves of CCAD, beaming out to every OIB, AMCOM cubicle, and AMC boardroom, this is your weekly Depot AI brief. Welcome to Episode 2, Depot-proof AI, IL5 ready tools, offline LLM assistance, and zero-trust automation.
We've got a really heavy stack of fresh intelligence for you today, and we're focusing entirely on how the DoD's push for secure Impact Level 5, that's IL5 computing, is fundamentally changing how we approach logistics and maintenance.
It really is, and the key thing here is we're not talking about some far-off future prototypes.
Right, this is stuff that's available or in active testing right now.
Exactly, and what's fascinating is how the authorized ecosystem is maturing. We're finally seeing that, that critical balance between powerful AI capabilities and the security architecture we absolutely have to have.
Today, we're breaking down exactly how these AI updates impact our 4 core roles, from the shop floor to the executive suite, and we'll wrap up with key highlights and insights on the commercial tools flashing on our industry radar. The central theme today is really about securing powerful AI right at the edge. Right where the work actually happens.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's start where readiness is built. The artisan, the mechanic, the people turning the wrenches. How does this help them build better, fix faster, or just do their job more safely?
Well, we've identified 2 major themes here.
Yeah.
Enhanced sensing and secured knowledge retrieval. So on the sensing side, we're moving way beyond just standard visual inspection. The Naval Research Laboratory, the NRL, recently completed tests on AI-driven hyperspectral sensing.
Okay, hold on. Hyperspectral sensing, that sounds incredibly sophisticated. For the mechanic on the floor, what's the actual difference between that and a standard camera?
The difference is depth. I mean, quite literally. A standard camera, it sees surface defects, cracks, scratches.
Okay.
Hyperspectral sensing analyzes the light spectrum across a huge range. It allows the AI to detect material properties, maybe subtle chemical changes, or even subsurface defects that are totally invisible to the naked eye.
So the AI is just better at material detection, checking for stress, maybe even spotting unauthorized components?
That's exactly it. This directly improves the accuracy of parts inspection, and, it dramatically boosts safety because it's flagging anomalies so much faster.
Right.
And we're seeing this power feed into predictive maintenance. The Army's partnership with C3.ai is a great example. They're deploying advanced AI for logistics that really leans into predictive maintenance using edge AI.
So computing that happens right there in the hangar.
Precisely. It's all about boosting readiness by acting on data before a failure can even occur.
That makes sense. Let's pivot to that second challenge you mentioned, knowledge retrieval. Because we all know the depot environment. Connectivity is spotty, and tech manuals have CUI. Control unclassified information.
Information that cannot leave the network. Ever.
So how does AI help mechanic find a torque spec when they're totally isolated in a secure enclave?
This is where self-hosting open-source large language models, or LLMs, becomes the depot-proof solution. We've been tracking the release of llama.cpp, for instance.
And the big deal here isn't just that it runs locally.
No. It's that it's optimized to run these massive models efficiently on, standard shop floor laptops or virtual machines, things with limited hardware, often just using the CPU.
So low latency, low hardware requirements, and guaranteed air-gapped security. That sounds like a triple win for an IL5 environment.
It is. This enables local LLM inference. What that means is you can build a smart tech manual Q&A capability right inside that secured VM.
So the mechanic loads the work instructions, the AI trains only on those documents.
And then they can ask a complex troubleshooting question and get an instant verified answer from the approved source material. It means faster troubleshooting, less rework, and crucially, the data never leaves.
But to make that usable for someone who doesn't want to type code, you need a simple interface.
You do. And that's where tools like OpenWebUI and text generation Weeboo come in. These are self-hosted user interfaces you can run right inside the IL5 enclave. No internet, they just give you a simple browser chat window.
So it lowers the adoption friction, makes it feel familiar?
It makes it easy. The key takeaway is simple. Use authorized solutions like GenAI.mil or these self-hosted IL5 tools to query technical data that absolutely cannot leave the secure network.
That transition from analog manuals to instant answers is huge. Okay, so let's follow that data stream. The Artisan is now generating perfect AI-verified data. So what do the analysts do with it? Let's shift gears to the strategist.
For the analyst, the unifying element here is zero-trust architecture. The Pentagon is pushing hard to integrate AI and automation into their zero-trust assessments.
So for the analyst, the AI is basically applying the same level of scrutiny you'd use for cybersecurity, but to supply chain data.
That's a great way to put it. It's all about cryptographic proof.
Mm.
Zero trust means you never implicitly trust any transaction. AI helps automate this by constantly monitoring network logs and transaction records for anomalies.
So it's not just looking for weird activity.
No, it's looking for activity that violates established trust boundaries. So when an AI inspection result gets logged, the zero trust architecture, with AI anomaly detection, ensures that transaction log hasn't been tampered with.
I see. So the analyst can actually trust the readiness forecast they get from a platform like Army Vantage.
Exactly. They can trust it because they know the input data has been verified by an automated security layer. This makes logistics, analytics, and forecasting so much more reliable.
And what about on the output side? Analysts are drowning in policy memos and reports.
Right, and that self-hosted LLM we talked about for the mechanic, it's just as valuable for the analyst. They can upload a 300-page policy memo to their local open Web UI instance in the IL5 enclave
And just ask it questions.
and ask it specific questions. What are the top 3 budgetary impacts of this new policy? It dramatically speeds up drafting executive summaries and prepping briefings. It's a capability that's mirrored in Ask Sage, too, when you're analyzing controlled data sets.
So the key takeaway for the analyst is that AI is making platforms like Army Vantage and Ask Sage more secure and more insightful.
Yes, it automates the validation so they can focus on high-level strategy, not data cleaning.
Okay, now let's move to the operational level. The supervisor, the team lead, their job is workforce management, safety compliance, and, cutting through all that red tape.
This role, I think, often faces the most workflow friction. Their greatest need is automating those repetitive administrative tasks.
That sounds amazing, but I have to ask. For a supervisor who is already juggling Rev 5 compliance and safety logs, isn't adding a whole AI workflow just another layer of complexity?
That's a fair point, and it's why the authorized tools are so targeted. The goal isn't to add complexity. It's to remove the administrative burden that's probably eating up, 30% of their day.
Right.
The secured AI assistants you find in platforms like Ask Sage or the Azure OpenAI features in Azure Government, they're designed specifically for this.
So give me a practical example.
Okay, think about daily management. A supervisor can feed in shift logs, safety observations, work in progress data. The assistant can then draft a standardized, compliant shift handoff summary.
Oh, okay.
It can summarize incidents, generate training aids for common safety issues, all of it inside the US Gov boundary. It automates the daily roll-ups so they can focus on the team on the floor.
That time saving is massive. But what about compliance? How do supervisors make sure their new efficiency tools don't suddenly get blocked?
They have to treat the compliance environment as a critical operational signal. The FedRAMP community working groups, for instance, especially with the move to Rev 5 standards, that cadence is dictating how fast new features get authorized.
So they need to watch that space closely.
Very closely. It helps them adopt tools that are already aligned with the next wave of government security, keeping them ahead of the curve.
The key takeaway then for the supervisor is that these tools automate the admin burden while keeping them inside that critical compliance framework.
That's it.
All right, finally, let's take the view from the command team, the executive, the commander. High-level strategy, ROI, risk management, federal compliance. How does all this technology tie into long-term readiness and the budget?
At this level, AI adoption is fundamentally a strategic investment. Executives are looking at modernization roadmaps. So, for example, the USAF's 4 hot AI business opportunities for 2026.
Okay.
That's crucial because it dictates where procurement and authorities to operate ATOs will be focused. Any platform they invest in today has to align with that roadmap to ensure ROI.
So it sounds like for an executive, the policy signals are almost like their technical manual for AI investment.
Absolutely. You see the influence of high-level personnel changes, like a new CDAO candidate, directly shaping AI governance. They rely on documents like the White House AI Action Plan for the risk and controls framework.
That's what backs up their procurement decisions.
It's what validates their strategic risk profile. When a commander signs off on a multi-million-dollar solution, they need absolute certainty it meets federal requirements. That certainty comes from the authorized framework.
And for most of the DoD, that framework is in Azure Government.
Precisely. Azure OpenAI and the related features there aren't just tools, they provide the entire governance framework. This enables what we call governed AI adoption with clear, auditable boundaries.
It guarantees data stays inside IL5.
Exactly. For the executive, it's less about the novelty of the tech and all about modernization, ensuring ROI, and managing strategic risk under federal rules.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's pivot. It's time for our Future Tech Commercial Watch. This is our Industry Radar segment where we look at what's happening outside the secure environment.
And we saw two massive commercial releases that signaled the next generation of capability. OpenAI released GPT 5.2, and Anthropic released Claude Opus 4.5.
So what's the major leap forward with these? What makes them relevant to us even if we can't use them today?
The primary advance is in what we call agentic capabilities,
Agentic.
meaning the AI can start to string together complex, multi-step tasks on its own, autonomously. For instance, it could audit a compliance doc, suggest a process change, and then draft the email to the team lead explaining it, all without a person intervening at each step.
Wow, okay.
These models show huge advances in reasoning, coding, and math. It really signals the potential for future autonomous maintenance systems, where an AI doesn't just predict a failure, but tries to diagnose it and recommend complex procedures.
And these are the capabilities that will eventually, after years of testing and compliance work, migrate into our platforms.
That's the path. They'll eventually become available in tools like GenAI.mil.
We're also seeing commercial integration trends that sort of preview what our own people will be demanding soon.
Absolutely. Look at healthcare. It has demanding compliance needs, so the clinical-grade workflows emerging there, AI assisting in diagnostics, summarizing patient data, those patterns are likely to transition to government later.
And for supervisors.
Well, the fact that commercial email like Gmail is entering the Gemini era previews what's coming. Email triage, smart summarization, task extraction from messages. Our government systems will eventually need to catch up.
And as these autonomous agents get more capable, the governance need gets more urgent.
It does. And there's a key signal there. NIST is actively seeking input on securing those exact agentic AI systems. If an AI can execute tasks on its own, the controls to manage risk have to be incredibly robust. This is a critical signal for executives.
Valuable foresight. Now, before we close out this segment, we have our required warning.
Right. It is critical to remember that these cutting-edge models, GPT 5.2, Claude Opus 4.5, and all similar commercial tools, are strictly home lab or industry awareness tools only.
They are not currently authorized for CUI, controlled unclassified information, or the depot networks.
Not at all. They are simply a window into what's possible down the road.
That's the essential message. The critical path forward is clear. Leveraging IL5 authorized platforms and carefully self-hosting secure, powerful tools to enhance readiness from the shop floor to the command team.
And I'll leave you with a final thought to consider. Given this intense focus on zero trust and new compliance rules, how will your team structure its technical data and its training records today to make sure they are AI-ready for automated compliance audits next year?
Thanks for joining us. Whether you're turning wrenches in the hangars or crunching numbers for the command team, you are the engine that keeps Army aviation ready. Stay safe, stay innovative, and we'll see you on the next Depot AI Brief.